Oh, it started. Okay. So let's get this stream into servers. I believe those are the two servers I should post this in. I think any more than that, you are kind of pushing it. But I am here. I am seated at a table, at a desk. I have not even pulled up the chat. I am that unprepared. While no one is here, I shall pull up the chat. Alright, I see we have some people in chat. Thank you for already being here. Hello, Rat. You cannot see it. I am very much seated at a table. I'm very... Like, this is... We getting into podcast type stuff. Alright, we'll possibly wait a little more as people begin to join. Alright. I would like to pick a battle that I feel would match the topic of tonight. To start off the covers. But I cannot think of one for the life of me. And I don't want to lose people this early either. I have an idea. Because I have been wanting to do this for a while. Let us begin. Alright, let's get this beat like in the right spot. If you know the words, rap along. Although I think I'm gonna test it with my OBS quickly. 1, 2, 3. Oh, my OBS is quiet today. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 1. Alright. Now we are talking. Now we are at a decent volume to be heard at. At a decent volume to do this cover of. Now, I do not believe this beat is arranged in the same way as the battle, so I will have to do various things myself. but that is okay. Let's begin. I just got another entry in my database. I thought you were co-head with your blank and basic face. Wait, that's just how they made you? Damn, dude, that's tragic. Rather stare at the bracken rather than at your graph. But you get tired after 5 seconds. My advice is, fuck an exorcism, dude. Get some exercise in. You're appointed position to be claimed by a kid. We're on actual missions. I'll tell you what we did. Got a hold of your scrap while you were smoking a pack up in the broken van. It's on the verge of collapse. Throwing up to Gordian Pass into the corporate for cash. And now you're corpulent ass. Can't perform your task. Put a shovel in my hands and I'll put you in the grave. Put your tower cards on me, it won't affect this king of space. 7 minutes in the game and like a day you get old. Can't hold a candle to us, your sanity must be low. And the reason why your closet's where you're hiding, I didn't elaborate, but you know what I'm implying. Think you're good at rhyming? Read the signs like a miling. I suggest that you remain silent. 4 morons forced away into a compound. Explore the floors, ignoring sides of lockdown. Score a horde of haunts, pants apart, so to afford a slim chance of clocking out. When it dawns a mask, cause they're allergic to learning. And in turn, it turns interns into the turning. So your ship aboard, losing who you were earning. Repeat ad infinitum, but it's crashing and burning. You're awful at your job. How'd you even get hired when you're hardly literate and even dimmer than a lighter? That goes for your verse too. They think you just fire, but I'm in here long enough to know when there's a ghost rider. Battle wave shades, Moroids, revs, and gins. You hear a strange noise and rev your engines. Thought you'd be the next big thing in 2023. Now the only mark you made, I'd have to check on your V's. Frozen in your tracks, man, you give you cold perception, left you far behind. Headed in the repo's direction, just a mimic of us using a concept for class. Didn't even have to give me a sign for me to figure that out. You calling me lazy is something I can't believe, when your job is to identify a ghost and fucking leave. Put my crew in there with a taser and a shotgun. Soon as it goes hunting, we'll get the job done. Spiders, worms, birds, name it. You're a weaker enemy who's been wasted potential since Kinetic lost his energy. Might be a pioneer, but I would never call you a rival the way you gave up the ghost and we're dead on arrival. Oh, I didn't hear your second verse. I thought you choked so bad that... Hey team, I think this guy just died of an asthma attack or something. Shouldn't... Yeah, I'll take his body back. Like, that's an extra $5, so shouldn't we... Team? Team? Hey, do you read me? Is anyone there? What? Who the hell are you? Envy and greed is plaguing your business. Succumb to your simbers. I thought that was Limbus. I may be the ghost here, but it's quite apparent in this paranormal bearing that you're paling in comparison. Like a folding dice, your kind just throws shades and screams at each other as passions insane. Wanted by your own demon to this nightmare you read. Made only no one who come to your aid. You just exist in the Twitch statistics as distant whispers, you witless bitches. On the hit list of mystic forces, or put some pink slips next to your corpses. I have been waiting a while to do that battle, and I'm glad I got to do it. Alright. As we were doing that, the one other person who was watching other than that left. So, I suppose we are just going to have to deal with that. Now! We are on to the main subject, the main topic of tonight's discussion. Which goes as following. The question is simply, how much progression does a battle have to have before we can consider it a story battle? And I've been trying to think of a way that it would be good to, I guess, quantify this or qualify this. And instead of doing it in a sort of like a YouTube video way, I thought it'd be better to do in a stream. So, first thing I would like to do, I would like to place myself... Do I need to be that tiny? Yeah, right there. This is the spot I'd like to be in for the rest of the stream. It's kind of nice not having anything like down here. And getting to look around at everything around me. So that's the first big change. The second change is, here we are. We have the progression metric document. I have had thoughts about how I want to do this, and this is kind of a topic where, Like, I'm okay if I am just kind of talking to myself here. Rat, if you are still here, please let me know. Otherwise, we're going to get started on the progression metric. Now, there's a few different questions, I think, as to what would count as progression, and while Rat is getting back to me, I'll quickly post this document into a server. So I think the thing here is there's a few different questions we have to ask here in terms of what counts towards a progression metric. I really like this because this is a really interesting topic and people can just kind of watch this back and not be bored by it because I think it is quite interesting. Alright, please excuse me a moment. We are going to receive a special guest. Hello. Hello.
Hello. There we go.
Hello.
Hello. Uh, I think the stream is a bit laggy, but I thought we should mute that.
I believe that is
There we
because
go.
I am Australian.
Yeah, fair enough.
Rat, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I don't know how many people would know me other than people who do writing tournaments, but I'm Rat. Have been in a couple different smaller FRB channels, but I'm not that too deep in things. But I usually mostly stick to writing tournaments like the top, which became COC, and so forth. I've been around for a couple of years.
Very good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining.
No worries.
I will also send you the document if you want to follow along.
Alright, sure. There we go.
I think there's a various number of questions. I have like 3 screens up right now.
Alright.
I have like my iPad and my phone and my laptop all just like laid out across the board. Just trying to
I see.
keep up with the Discord chat
Well,
and the YouTube chat and then this.
I see. Well, I only have my computer now and my iPad on the side, but I can only check one at a time.
Understandable. So, the progression metric. Do you have an answer for the question just in general?
Uh, how much progression would be needed? Well, what would you define as progression?
Something that progresses the battle in a objective way. Like something that makes the battle change.
Alright, well, if we want to get a baseline through, like progression in a kind of 3-act story way is definitely like the upper tier of the story battle. Then we can kind of somehow work our way to finding our way with, okay, what is not a story battle and what is a story battle, and that's kind of from there I suppose we could go for.
Absolutely. I think the first question I wanted to address tonight and kind of just go through different examples of it is what would and wouldn't count as progression.
Yeah, all right.
So the few different things that I had in mind, I think, because I was talking about this in the server, third parties are going to be
Yeah,
something.
third parties.
I'm just going to list off a bunch of
I
stuff
would.
and then we'll talk about it, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Alright. Cameos are something. Another thing I was considering. Rebuttals. What was the other thing? Because I know I typed 3 things. Transformations. Okay, I think if you want to go into specifics now, this would be the time. So, third parties.
Alright. So, how do you want to start our discussion on third parties?
Do you think third parties are progressive, and if so, to what extent?
Alright, well, third parties, I like when I think of third parties in story battles, I immediately go to like one of the first ones I would consider like timeline-wise story battles, which would be the Ebenezer. I think was. I remember that one. That was, but that was like must be like a decade ago almost.
Yeah. Ebenezer Scrooge versus Donald Trump.
Yeah, that is definitely like that is the story battle. There is
Yeah.
very much a story being told there. So third parties in that sense, yes. Is it third parties in the kind of just battle royale sense? I don't know. It doesn't feel like that. That feels more towards it's just part of the rap. For example, if you I'm just gonna pick up one of at like the Rock versus Paper versus Scissorman, that whole thing with James Gunn coming in at the end. That doesn't feel like a story battle. That just feels like, oh yeah, right, Paper versus. Then we add the gun thing.
Absolutely.
Like, you know. So yeah, that it's somewhere in between there we would have to meet. So if you have any further thoughts to kind of narrow the scope.
No, I think I agree with that. I think, yeah, there were definitely instances where third parties can be put in, and it doesn't necessarily necessitate to it being a story battle. An example that got brought up within the Discord server was Ralsei versus Megumin. No, those are cameos. We're not talking about those yet. Bad example. Okay, the example I'm going to throw is Ronald McDonald versus the Burger King.
Yeah, with Wendy coming in.
With Wendy coming in at the end, and I do feel there is some sort of progression because yes, someone new has entered the ring, but that is about as far as it goes.
Yeah, I don't think that in a story sense that adds to the story. It's more just here's another fast food icon. We don't want to make another battle with just Wendy versus one of these two folks, so we're doing a 3-way at the end.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. I don't think it's actually part of the story, but I think on terms of progressing the battle, the fact that someone else does come into the battle is an important part of it. Not to the story, but for the progression of the battle.
I suppose, yeah.
Alright, we're moving on to cameos. Cameos are kind of interesting. Again, the example that I can bring this up now. The example that Donut brought up earlier was Ralsei versus Megumin. and the sort of idea of like if Susie and Yun Yun hadn't come into the battle, would there have been a difference?
Okay. I need to like. I do remember that seeing that, but it was that I haven't seen that battle in a good while, so I just need to kind of remember. But they do have a character interaction between the two. If I remember, Susie's being a bit more substantial than Yun Yun's, even though they do like Megami and Union do interact. It feels less, but then again, it might have spent the time since watching that. So
Another example I'm going to pull up.
yes.
I'm not sure if you have seen it. But Hamburger Helper versus Master Hand.
Yeah, no, I have not seen that one. I think.
You have not seen that one. Okay. What is another battle that has? But I then again, and again, GIF pulled up a very interesting one, which is Your Forger versus. What is it? Let me find it. Your Forger versus Maki Harukawa.
Yes.
Which is a very interesting take on it because it feels like the cameos are coming in for a reason, and there is what feels like a storyline throughout it.
Yeah, and there I can agree that that is enough, like added on to where you could say there is. We start at point A when we end up at point B.
Start at point A and end at point B is a very good point to make, yes. Sort of on
Yes.
the like lower end of things are going to be, I think the other two are very on the lower end of things, but possibly I've just ran out of things to talk about and we'll find more aspects of battles as we go through different examples of battles, I suppose.
Yep. But
But on the lower
again,
end of the two,
yeah.
on the lower end of the
As I mentioned earlier, yeah, sorry.
sorry, so go.
As I said,
I'll shush.
yeah, as I said in the chat, like in our private chat, I am not as put into this, so I'm not gonna have as much story things, like much like deep thoughts on this. So I will apologize beforehand on that. So go on.
You have been very. This has been very interesting to talk with you about. So I think this is a conversation, and it's a very interesting conversation that anyone in FOB will have because everyone will have different thoughts on it.
Yeah. I'm kind of like trying to apply some of my, because I'm currently like studying like literature and creative writing and stuff like that. So I'm currently trying to kind of apply some of those ideas onto here.
Of course. Okay, so on the lower end of the progression metric, the two things that I have, the first one is rebuttals.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I feel like
that
rebuttals is the smallest possible metric of a progression. It feels
like you would have to do a lot of things to make a rebuttal feel like progression.
absolutely. Hello, Dawn. I have seen you.
Yeah.
I have seen Dawn join the chat. Hello, thank you for joining. We are discussing how much progression is required to become. How much progression is required for a normal battle to become a story battle, and discussing some of the elements of that right now. Please continue, Rat.
Yes. But yeah, as I said, you would need to do a lot of things to make a rebuttal more than just a reaction. Like I don't know exactly what you would need to make, but it usually just feels like a reaction to a previous line.
Of course, and even that, like, sort of reaction, if done in the right way, can help it to feel like a conversation instead of just a battle.
Yeah.
The other thing that got brought up, and this was by Walk when I talked about this with him earlier on today, was transformations. So transforming between different forms of a character or person.
All right. Yeah. That one I think is like if we would rank these four we have brought up, I would say like at the bottom we have rebuttals, then we have cameos, then we have transformations, and then we have third parties. Those two being kind of upper echelon of what you would need, like what would be qualified as a story battle.
Interesting. What puts transformation? What type of transformations
Because,
do you have in your mind?
well, I am thinking, for example, uh, uh, the Peter versus Deadpool ones, like change between the different things and all that. Because while it is in the, I wouldn't know how the proper term it, but like there is chaos to it, but there's also some form of like, as I said, there's point A and there's point B, where a lot of points in between. Let's see what.
Absolutely, and I do think on the other end of that, because the other thing that my mind went to was the Copycat Royale and Junko changing into Mukuro, changing into Samugi. But I definitely think there's also the opposite end of that, where transformations aren't as. I think everything just depends. Like the example that Walk brought up was Goku going Super Saiyan against Superman, and that doesn't feel.
Yeah, that's just a costume change.
Yeah, like there's definitely different examples of transformations, and depending on how they're done, they can help the story in different ways.
Yeah.
All right, we have.
If the transformation is more on the end of just an actual transformation of being transforming a character to a different type of character, or like a character with slightly different flavor, that is something. But in the Goku example, that's, as I said, more of a costume change, and that's less progression, I would say.
How would you feel about? Ooh, and I guess we'll go into more like battles and things. I do want to address something that's been said in the chat. Like for example, like Peter Pan versus Benjamin Button had Ben change after every verse as an example of transformations. I personally do not know this battle.
I haven't seen that battle either, but I'm imagining this is a hypothetical battle, at least right now, because
is this a hypothetical battle? Because if not, we will check out the battle.
Let's see.
Otherwise, I'm going to start 3 different tabs on this document, and discuss the different things. So the first.
It's an idea.
It's an idea, so it's a hypothetical battle. Okay. It is a very interesting concept.
The Benjamin Button. So, Benjamin Button changing, that would, I would say, depending on how you play into it. Is it just for appearance's sake, or do you do something with that? I think that would be the main categorization to distinct between costume change and transformation.
Anyway, I'm going to make 3 different tabs labeled tiny progression. So these are the ones with the tiniest amount of progression, but still progression. As an example, I would throw Goku versus Superman onto here. There is a small amount of progression here, but there is not much.
Yep.
I would also throw things like Valse versus Megumin that has just cameos, but the cameos wouldn't matter to the overall plot of the battle.
Alright.
On terms of actual progression, I don't know. I feel like Valse versus Megumin having cameos is some sort of a progression. I wouldn't say it's much, but it's not tiny. So I'm going to throw Valse versus Megumin there. You can throw RPS in there. And I think for story battle, we're going to have a lot of story battles. So, yeah, do you want to go first or should I go first and just listing a bunch of story battles?
Oh. No, I think you should probably go first with me adding on to anything if I somehow rattle this, the brain of mine.
Okay, so the ones that are coming in as story battles off the top of my head. Peter Griffin versus Deadpool for very obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Holden versus Am.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Animal Farm versus Lord of the Flies.
Definitely.
Very Hungry Caterpillar versus Caterpillar.
Yeah.
Noelle versus Sayori.
Could you repeat that, sorry?
Noelle versus Sayori.
Yeah, I think so. That was a long time I saw that battle.
Noelle versus Sayori being yeah, both of them are having a fight, but both of them get corrupted by their respective sides. Sayori goes into her depressive fit, and Noelle activates her Snowgrave. So, very story, I believe.
Yeah.
There should be more that I am remembering here.
I mean, we had an example earlier with Ebenezer Van Trump.
Alright, someone has posted... Alright, Dawn has posted a battle into the chat, and I would like your opinion on whether or not this is a story battle or not. Weed versus cigarettes.
I saw that one being posted several places, and I'll be honest, I was never interested to see that battle, so I sadly not seen that battle.
Okay, essentially what the battle is, it is basically a royale. A bunch of third parties come in, and at the very end walks in basically a happy, healthy person that tells them all, hey, this is what you can do by not doing any of that. This is the happy life I live. You can do the same. And it ends with a beautiful choir and chorus.
Okay. That is hard, because that feels like somewhere between this tier and the previous tier.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It feels very on the edge.
Yeah.
So
it's more like, where do we want to draw the line in the sand?
Yeah, I would like to... I'm going to look up the last verse of this, just so I can... Because I think that'll be the deciding factor for me.
Yeah.
I do think it is a battle that definitely has a lot of progression. I feel it's more progression that borders on story. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to...
You have explained that makes sense. Yeah.
I would just like to watch this last verse and try to make my decision from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be quiet until that thing has popped up on stream as well.
Bingo. All of your raps are laced with pain and despair. Wanna know my addiction, sunshine and fresh air. Need to consume poison to see the value in life. All I need are my kids and my beautiful wife. I got a wonderful job that pays well, and I lift every day till my arms get swell. I don't sit around crying about how life is unfair, drooling all over my shirt and wiping cheese on my chair. I ain't here to kick you while you're down, just please listen. I've lost people I love to the stuff, I still miss them. You don't need to smoke, drink, or pop pills to be real. You just need to find the will and courage to re-heal. Take my hand, let's walk through this dark cloud together. Just look forward and strive to be better. Drop your vices with pride, all my sisters and brothers. Life too short to die young, let's take care of each other. Now let me hear you sing. Look forward, strive to be better, 'cause only you can choose if you win or lose. That's right. If you win or lose, let's find the courage together, 'cause we can change what's done, but we can heal us. All right, my brothers and sisters, let me hear you sing. Look forward, strive to be better, 'cause only you can choose if you win or if you lose. Now I see your struggles and I feel your pain. We can never change what's done, but we can heal as one. Sing it. Now you always have to.
It does feel the most appropriate.
Sorry, I would say that again.
Sorry, talk to myself. So, but yeah, I do believe that progression will be the most appropriate for this.
I agree. I think
Again,
it's
it's more.
very close to story,
Yeah.
but I will agree it's progression.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, back to story battles. Again, this was brought up to my attention, and I believe this is the border, the very borderline,
Yeah.
between progression and story battle. Your Forger versus
If you
Maki
can get more
Harukawa.
storyfied, yeah. If you can get more if you can get more storyfied than this, then yeah, put it up there.
I believe, because I was talking about it with GIF earlier, Your Forger versus Maki Harukawa is going to be the border between progression and story.
I suppose that makes sense as well.
Other things. Okay, that's what a story battle. Is there any other story battles I can think of? Do you have any? Okay, Frodo versus Egyptians.
Frodo versus Egyptians is a journey, so I suppose it would be a story in a way. Yeah.
That's all I can think
Let's
of
see.
for the time being. Do you have any? Oh, Makoto versus Jimbo is the only other one I'm gonna throw here.
That one, and I am unsure, but what was that? Easter Bunny and Leprechaun as well, potentially with the part of the
Ooh.
end.
Oh, this is another one that I.
Yeah, that is also like how do we feel about that? Because it starts out at that and then it kind of devolves or evolves or however you think the trajectory goes into
I
whatever
would
madness
like to
follows.
call this on near the end of progression. I feel. I don't think there's enough to call it a full story, but things do happen.
Yeah, I just don't remember how like long part of the battle is dedicated to it.
Ooh. On terms of story battles, how do we feel about Hannibal Barca versus Aurelius?
Right. That one. Well, hmm, that is a good question because that is kind of structured like the Gauntlet, and there's like there's some lines that make it. I can't remember the exact lines, but like, there are some lines that I remember. Okay, this feels like a smooth progression through, but it's if we categorize it. I'm not saying we will, but if we do categorize it, I would say that this is on the lower end of story.
Lower end of story.
Yeah, if we do, but yeah, that is just how I think, based on my memories of it from when I watched it like 1 or 2 times. No, 2 or 3 times maybe.
I'm trying to remember, does much more happen other than, like, yeah, he goes through, he kills people, the next person comes up? Because I feel this is mid progression.
Yeah, makes sense. Mid progression. In that case, you can also add in Ivan versus Alexander the Great and all that.
Yeah, that's those two are pretty much in the exact same spot.
Yep.
Any other story battles or battles you recommend would be stories?
My mind is blanking right now. Let me scroll through my little playlist.
Because otherwise, there were some other battles in the. There were some other battles that happened in the chat that I would love to discuss.
Yeah, go ahead at that while I'm looking through this.
Alright, so the first battle to be brought up is Monica versus Flowey.
how do you feel? Because that one I have watched it. I don't have much of an opinion if it's story or not.
I think it is progression, and I do not think there's enough to
Yeah.
quantify its story.
Alright.
Where it would go is the different story. I think before Hannibal Barker, I feel. Next one to be brought up is Asgore versus Natsuki,
Yeah.
which I feel is progression.
Yeah. Alright. Alright.
I don't. He pops ult, and that's pretty much the only progression thing that's in the whole battle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Alright. Next to a very interesting Light versus Monica.
I don't think they're a story. But that's my personal gut feeling. Just if you ask my snap judgment, not story. Sure, they do like Light becomes more and more unhinged, if I remember correctly, but that's more progression, I think, in this case.
So to recap the things that happened in this battle from memory. Monica. Light writes Monica's name in the Death Note. Monica
Yeah,
retaliates by basically pointing out that Light did not actually write her file name, to which, yeah, Light gets more agitated. Monica uses the code to change the time signature of the battle before using the code to eventually plunge their entire world into darkness. There's also a cameo from Ryu.
Yep. You know what? That's. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, you can put it on the story end. Yeah. I mean that is several things happening, so and it does change the whole thing. Yeah.
Alright, and the final one that got mentioned within the channel was the Detective Royale.
That does feel like it's meant to be a story because it's the whole with mostly because of the body being both kind of set up and the kind of ending as well. So, but I don't think Batman argues anything about the body. He just goes straight in for L, if I remember correctly. That's kind of a break there. But besides that, no, that's mostly a story battle, I would say.
Alright. Alright, that's it from that's it from both chats. Bringing it up in the. I mean, there were some that I've now thought of. I believe we discussed this earlier, but Ebenezer Scrooge versus Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, I mentioned it a couple of times. I don't think you wrote it up. I didn't.
I believe that is inherently a story battle. It goes through the story of.
I mean, it's the one I believe we used to coin the whole story battle thing. So
That's crazy to think about. Alright, and then the other thing that came up with Light Yagami versus Monica would be Artemis Fowl versus Monica. Artemis Fowl versus Light Yagami. Oh my goodness.
good thing you don't have a camera because I think I just got some gray hairs. No,
yeah, Artemis Fowl versus Light Yagami. I might need to rewatch this.
Yeah, no, that would probably be for the better.
Alright, I am going to watch this battle.
Snakebite rap badass. Light Yagami. Artemis Fowl, the criminal renowned all throughout history, and here I am having to babysit his mini-me. In your father's shadow, but it seems you've gotten lots from him. For if you think me to be Kira, you've both gone out on a limb. Just drop the facade, Yagami, stop with the false psychology. Don't need Shinigami eyes to see through your farce properly. From Spyro to extinctionism, I know all about faux religions of false prophets with bleak visions, so show me the penguin those flows are missing. If that's your wish, then alright, but you'll find I'm no fairy type. If you think I'll be remorseful, young Sheldon, let me shed some light. Call me Butler as I serve ya, packing ink splotches that'll murder. Get you unnerved like a girl would, make your beat stop like I'm Minerva. I've got that Death Note supply, but even with all of the pages, there's no way it'd fit all the mental disorders you're plagued. You kidnapped an elf detective, oh, but now her heart's grown. How romantic, you turned Miss Sherlock Holmes into Stockholm. Oh, but like Commander Root, you blew it when you left her extorted. Any magic sparks that you and Holly shared were short-lived. You're one to talk extortion with the path that your girl was led. You toyed with her head until you drove her over the edge. You never have been of note, but then that book turned you violent. What a fateful twist of irony that lights become blinded. So add this to your list of failures as if be a worst else since Lynn Taylor. Your posting is trite, so just shut it and listen. Your clothes are so shite, even Moats wouldn't dig 'em. You think you're scheming is cleaning up Tokyo? You're the creepiest kid since JoJo Magic World Ambassador, calm and handsome. I'm taking this gold like a hostage ransom. Your loud banter's no match for the sound planner who spits in such a foul manner that I live in foul manner. I'm novel, you're comical, but you're sure one to talk age when I stayed at bestseller years before the scribble non-stop phase. Oh, is someone insecure about their age? Well, child, best sit right down. All your plans have been a wash since the LEP blue rinsed your house. With your magic beast and split identity, you're just D&D, but with DID, and you cower so much it's like your last name's Falk, cause all you do is chicken out. Such a simpleton, your ego's the only time that you're complex. So call me your father, you're killing me with your incompetence. And your sister's in a wheelchair from the shock you put her through, but your Netflix special's so grim, even she walked out of the room. You think climate change machines are enough to save the earth? It'll take less than 40 seconds just to kill you with this verse. You wish to chatter about movie remakes, a similar problem that we've faced. But overpush your entire world to the Stone Ages so they could leave your film erased. Yagami's got to get on your knees and start to bleed before you are deceased. If I wanted this book to put you to sleep instantly, I would have just written your whole ontology. Light, you're unspeakably vile. Think I wouldn't kill scum because it took the form of a child? Far from it, actually. I knew you would, so I read up on your weaknesses, and let's just say I took notes. Like Yellow Box, your end is near, you aren't hard to defeat. Salty, the task force canned you, I suppose you are what you eat. You operated in the shadows, but got cocky in the final battle, and then Ryuk showed you poetic justice. How do you like them apples? I've sent this false god to the stars, for now your run is through, because my name is Artemis, and I hunted you.
Okay. If you're still there?
Yes, I am.
Alright, how are we feeling?
From what I can see, it's mostly the most story thing that's happening is the whole, oh, I'm going to write your name in the battle, and then just Fowl going, nuh-uh. Which is much less involved as how you described the whole Monica thing.
Yes, I feel this is very... The few things that happen in this is Light Yagami writes the name down, Artemis Fowl reveals he's been a hologram and reveals himself in the room, shoots, and basically just shoots Light Yagami down, and that's it.
Yeah. Alright. One I don't think is a story battle, but I saw when I scrolled past is Bob the Builder versus Bob Ross.
Ooh. Okay, these are two character transformations, I feel. You've got two... But these are mostly just personality changes. You've got Bob the Builder being a Kyogen character who just swears a fuck ton, and then you have Bob Ross, who is usually the calm and paint mellow yellow person. suddenly go, "Yo, it's Bob the Vasa, Bob the
Uh-huh.
So, I would say,
It's not a story battle, and there's
absolutely
no.
not. But I'm also collecting progression battles here, so that works too.
Yeah.
I would put that under Vase versus Megumin, but just personally.
Alright.
And then where do we feel about Artemis versus Light?
Uh. Yeah.
I want to say between Monica and Barker,
Yeah. Sure.
if you're still looking at the documents.
I am currently like scrolling through my list of battles, so I'm sadly not looking right now. No.
Of course, there was another battle that I thought of while I was watching that one, and I've forgotten it. All right, let's go through some gamer stuff. Why not? I feel like Just Gamers is a very big and very interesting name to bring up here.
Right, fair enough.
So the first one I'm immediately going to bring up is the Recruiter versus Nagito Komaeda.
Okay.
How are you feeling about this battle?
That is a good question. I personally can't exactly put my finger on why, but this is definitely I think the whole story battle.
Hmm.
We have the whole recruiting thing, the whole shooting himself thing, kind of the taunting of the body.
Yeah. Okay, definitely story battle. Alright. Does Gamer have... Something I'm just going to throw just generally in progression would be Justin Hammer versus Miles Braun. And it feels like the one instance where rebuttals in a rap battle sense and as part of the metric that we are going off feel strong enough for it to be part of progression.
Okay. I have listened to that one a couple times. I could not for the life of me say what happens in it.
So essentially
So
they are
I'll-
talking back and forth, and Justin Hammer has some good lines, but Miles Braun does a lot of rebuttaling, and at some point proceeds to take basically most of Justin Hammer's lines and try to repeat them and make them shit. The battle ends with them arguing before one of them confesses something and the building blows up.
Yeah, sure. That can work as progression.
How do we feel about Yuta Asahina versus the Creaking? First of all, have you seen this battle?
I saw it once.
Do you remember what happens in it?
Utah raps against the Creaking. Then I think nothing happens. Utah reacts to that or something like that. No, it's very foggy memory.
It is basically, yes, 3 verses of Yuta rapping at the Creaking, and the Creaking does nothing until the final verse.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because I'm trying to work out what in that progresses the battle.
Yeah, I don't think that is much of a progression. No, it would basically just call it is rapping against a wall that doesn't answer a progression.
I
No,
don't think
not
it
really.
is, but I think the way that Yuta slowly becomes more uncomfortable and then angry in response to nothing happening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that
Yeah,
under
you can
tiny.
Put it at,
I'm gonna put it as tiny.
I think you can put it on. Yeah. But that does. I don't know for some reason why, but it reminded me of Nick Cage versus Louis, I think it was.
Olimar?
Olimar, yes.
This is, I would
The
say,
one,
progression. I've only seen this battle once. But if my memory serves me well, Nick Cage has an entire verse. Olimar has one line, and then Nick Cage acts like he's totally destroyed. Another person comes in, and they basically do an interview on how shit Nick Cage is.
the IRS, yeah.
Okay. That doesn't. That feels like perfectly halfway in progression.
Actually, they don't have a verse. They have a bit of a, or you said interview, but they do have a kind of a whole discussion there. So, but yes,
I want to say halfway, just perfectly halfway.
yeah, yeah.
Which I still visualize that being like here. Another battle that I'm thinking of before we get back to game are Slenderman versus Jeff the Killer.
Yeah, I would say that that's a story. That's especially with the whole intervention thing that then later turns out to be something else.
Okay, going back to Gamer, and I don't even have to look through his channel, I remember this next one. Schmitty versus... What's her name? Schmitty versus Kamaru Naegi.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, it's definitely above Tiny, at least.
Yes. This also
It's
feels
precious.
between like the borderline of progression and story, but I don't know which side it should
Yeah.
belong on.
Yeah, I just like it would definitely feel more like a story battle if the Nai maybe had one more line at the end. Oh, not like one line, but like one more verse at the end.
Okay.
Because if I remember correctly, it just kind of feels like it cuts off. Like
So to
middle
recap from
through.
what is in the battle, Schmitty does their usual quiplash thing, to which Kamaru complains. Kamaru basically
Yep.
says, I thought you would take my lines and use them in your own verse, to which Schmitty immediately takes a line and uses it in his own verse. Kamaru answers one of Schmitty's questions before using Schmitty's quiplash game against him, and then Schmitty does the final game against Kamaru.
Yeah. I mean, for going through the quip, that goes for quiplash. Yes, it just for the rap battle itself, it just feels for some reason, at least for me, it feels like had Kumaru balanced it out with having equal amount of verses, it might have helped in this case. But I don't know. How do you feel? This might be a hot take. Who knows? I don't care.
This is definitely going to be a hot take, and I'm curious to see how people feel about it, but I feel like this is playing more into a gimmick rather than a story. I think it's in progression, but on the higher side.
Yeah. All right.
Above weed cigarettes, I feel. Alright, Gamma, what else you got for us? Alright, both of the Squid Game battles are pretty much the same thing. Those are two battles that perfectly fit in the same category. Squid Game versus Mr. Beast and Squid Game versus Celestia Ludenberg.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much just third party.
Yep.
So you can go here. Alright, I believe in the server people were talking about Hyoko Seonji versus Natsuki.
Alright.
Alright, so I've watched this battle once. I I know. I think Hyoko gets replaced by Mr. Cupcake. So I'm going to very quickly rewatch this battle.
Yeah, makes sense. I'll be quiet.
Cause why they make Natsuki so trash? Why God damn it! Bad idea. Rap battle. Natsuki versus Hyoko Sayanji. There, begin.
Wait, what? I'm somehow back? And I still have to rap. Didn't Mikan kill Yuri? A trial needs to take place. And what's with that look on your face? Character's the biggest creep in your group, please. You're the one behind the weird ass you've seen. You don't have to be a jerk just cause you're lonely. No wonder you had no friends before Hope's Peak. Been insufferable and mean just a start. Even your writers didn't care about finishing your art. So they switch around some debts and silenced you. Cause turns out you're of no use without Mahiru. You call that poetry? Such a dork like that tall freak friend of yours. Drop on the floor. I'm skipping over you. Free time event? Is there something in the bed?
Hanging on this track, been here since the first game. Mr. Cupcake is here to wish you a happy birthday. Me and the Freddy band get up to some scary shit, but even we're from DR's annoying orange variant. Both your dances and growth, this girl is stunting. I'm glad I don't have the nose, your rodent's disgusting. And as for you, Baker, I've gotta tell you something. Afton is coming, better start running.
What the fuck just happened? Why is a robot cupcake rapping? What is Hyoko talking about? There's no vents to get through. But the battle must continue. Much like the fans, I'm going who's he? Never left much of an impact until the movie. Even in that weirdo band, you stand out as a freak. They should keep you hidden, unlike your two front teeth.
I better back up, cause you're straight up blowing it. Your lines are underbaked, yeah, better put the flow in. This ain't mad at my band, it's just cause you're a loner who knows a thing or two about being skipped over. A real poser with you, no one gives a fuck. You're as pointless and empty as DDLC Plus. Getting emotional, don't be so sad. When I'm done beating you, I'll be just like your dad.
This is why I made a no boys rule. I wanna escape this all when I get to school. You didn't mean that. You don't understand me. And you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Suki's here, keep stirring butter cake. You and those animatronics that I could never name. I've got all the gains I need to beat ya, while you're out here being carried by Chica. Gotham made Lord, but with you he was stopping. Your bonus on top, kind of like frosting. Stomp on Monica, now I stomp on the beat. You like Freddy with that kid spin, I'm gonna eat you.
Who won?
Okay, wow, okay. Progression for sure, but okay.
Yeah.
I forgot how stupid that battle was.
Another one that's on the a bit on the older side is Mugman versus Fazbear, I think. If I remember correctly, it goes through the different like horror things.
So just to quickly touch on Hyoko
no,
versus
no,
Natsuki
no, it's,
as
no,
we're here.
sorry, yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I also misremembered which battle it was. I'm thinking of a complete another battle. Go on. Yes. Sorry.
Alright, so just finished Hyoko versus Natsuki. Progression for sure. Yeah, I can go here.
So,
As you were saying.
the one where I was, yeah. So the one I was going to talk about was the Beast versus Freddy Fazbear, with the whole the Beast taking the different horror characters and just doing whatever to them. I only remember listening to the audio, so I don't remember what the video happens there. But...
So I have not watched this battle.
Alright.
But I would very quickly like to add to story battle. If you would consider it a story battle, but because you've just reminded me of the Bear versus Candle Cove.
Yeah, I only watched that one time, so I'm gonna refer to your expertise on that one.
Okay, so the Bear versus Candle Cove, it goes... How does it go? These two kids are in a boat, and the person is just basically telling them, go inside the cave, go inside the cave. They go in, they have the little battle. One of the peoples goes missing, and then Mr. Bear has their verse. And then the kid realizes, yeah, it's a trap, and Mr. Bear basically puts them in a body bag, drags them towards a fire, throws them inside. Mr. Jollybones comes out and basically tells him to go inside the hole. The viewer changes the channel over to where you see Happy Happy have a creepy fucking verse, and then the channel changes again, and the battle is over.
Alright. Let's see if I can find.
I want to say yes, but just.
Yep.
I think there is enough to call this one. Why is the first thing out of my keyboard Happy Happy? Okay. Mr. Bear vs. Candle Cove. The other one that I would consider a story battle that I just remembered from basically the same event is Mouthwashing versus the Lighthouse. I'm not sure if you have any feelings surrounding that.
I have no particular feelings for this one.
As in, you haven't seen it, or?
I have double check. I think I've listened to it, but no stronger reaction besides that. Just check.
Hush, God,
Yeah,
lad,
yeah,
you
I-
love
I-
me lobster dish. The boys had one job, nothing, and they deliberately flopped at it.
I have listened to it. I don't think I saw it, but I have it on my little Spotify playlist of battles.
Very nice. I would consider it a story battle. I think it goes through the stories of both of the different tales very well.
Alright.
I've got to think of a lot of Danny stuff as whether you consider the story. Like, have you seen Am versus Low Tier God?
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it again. Listened to it. I think I've listened to most of. At least the ones on Spotify, I've listened to most of them, if not all.
Am versus Low Tier God is an interesting one. I think we're also just going to have a tab called Get Back to This.
Yep.
So, Low Tier God versus Am, I want to throw on that list. Baldy versus Pico 2, I would like to throw on that list. I would like to go over Wizards Wanted versus Clank, which is one of my own battles. But in the meantime, Mr. Bear versus Freddy Fazbear, you said?
No, it was not that. It was the Beast versus
The
Freddy
Beast.
Fazbear.
Okay. Beast.
By
versus-
Uberosity, I think it was.
Ooh, we're getting Uberosity up in here. So this will also just be my first reaction to this battle.
Uber battles of fiction. The Beast. Versus Freddy
Forces! Oh my days.
Fazbear.
You'd call this beauty and the beast, I'm sure, when you come diss me. The 100-acre woods, more of your tone of talking Disney. So beware, bear, don't mess with me. You'd best disengage and step down. You'll have gathered now that this battle won't be staged. Don't talk empty shell. I'll catalog your wither as a steaming pile of scrap or fitting in a baby circus. I'll watch over your fandom's fall as better trends make you unknown. Hello? So drop the F. You'll need both paws to hold the phone.
Watch your wayward, small potato, sweet molasses flow. You touch my rock factor, you know I got the mic control. So don't talk about the phone, I got your number 666. And the cruise spike will send you back in time and leave you 86. While you clap, check the styles, every creepy cartoon. I'll keep it smoky as I burn a forest and it's dark crew. I'm a jingle mangler, I just waste time for cheap frights. No land to slither, nothing less to all my fine lights.
Perhaps we'd better make a deal before the end of the song.
Save them from the purple
little guy? Do I look like I do you wrong? Want to make this Fazbear's fright? Suppose I could pack more bites? Come in closer to my sight and step into the lantern light. My rhymes are golden! But now you are the one who will hallucinate. You sprung the trap that I set knowing you'd just come and take the bait. No, the Starman cannot be! Your soul is mine. Now you've got on. It's like you had no frontal lobe. And now all of your hope is gone.
The ugly putty wants an oogie boogie.
Oh, how rash!
I can drop a better beat and turn him into Monster Mash.
Oh, why don't we spruce him up?
Baby can scare kids with those horns. Look at his hands. It seems
Hello once again, FRB channel. How are you doing today?
he already kidnapped some Santa Claus.
Let's boil him to his dry
Shut it,
bones.
he's already a bark. We scare kids long before you try to outshine us in the dark.
Mingle the ancient mages' bride-to-be.
That's sweet.
Shut the bait.
It's snared with a trap beat. Trick or treat.
I come with a proposal to all those who knock upon my door. You see, I know for what you see.
For Halloween forevermore, candy spoofs and scares galore.
Yeah, for your eternal night. All that you'll have to do is come and step into the lantern's light.
No, what's this? What's
And
this?
I thought you were used to tricks. It seems a dash of Edelwood would help to pass.
Very nice. FRB just hit the jackpot. FRB.
Go.
I just hit the jackpot. Okay. FRB, while you were here, I'm gonna throw Pomni vs. Javel on this list. I'm taking no questions. FRB, do you have any... Mika is here as well. Hello. FRB, do you have any... We're basically discussing how much progression is required for a normal battle to become a story battle. Do you have any battles that you feel... Is everyone just flooding the stream now? Some group chat somewhere said, "Hey, let's flood the stream." To anyone in the chat, thank you all for joining. Is there any battles you would consider story battles? Why or why not?
More people have hit jackpot. Let's go gambling!
Let's go gambling! Again, I swear, some group chat I'm checking the FRB server. Some group chat somewhere just went, let's flood this person's... I got FRB, we got Micah, we got Mint Oreos, and we got 50-50 in here. What are we doing? Thank you so much for being here. Yes, if you have any battles you think would be considered story battles, that is what we are discussing. These are the battles we have on here at the moment. Could Homelander vs. Zoolander be considered? Rat, what do you think?
Yeah, that should be. I would say that potentially might be a story battle.
I would... Ooh. Because what sort of happens throughout the battle? I guess... No, I can definitely see it as a story battle. No, I definitely see it.
We have gone through Monica and...
We have gone
Flowey,
through
so-
Flowey versus Monica. We believe this is more of a progression, but where is it? We believe this is more of a progressive battle. Like there's definitely a death that does happen. There's definitely they reset the whole thing. Yuri versus Mikan is definitely Yuri versus Mikan isn't here. What are we doing? What are we doing here? I don't know, you just low-key hit the jackpot. You hit the jackpot with Yui versus Mikan. I can't believe we didn't have that on there. But on terms of Flowica versus... Flowica, what the... Monica versus Flowey. On terms of Monica versus...
Oh, no, the words are hard sometimes.
Hi, words are hard. On terms of Monica versus Flowey, Flowey resets the battle and turns into Omega Flowey. I don't think that's enough to consider it a story, per se. Well, Mint Oreos is in the chat, because this has just... Okay, that's going to be an interesting one. Have you watched West of Loathing versus Turnip Boy?
my mind doesn't recognize that one. Sorry.
Let me fire off a warning shot before I swap from Western to hip hop and spit hot. Don't need to wait 2 weeks to get this kid right. Don't talk something when I'm pissed off.
Yeah, no, my mind is blanking.
So essentially, the battle is a normal back and forth battle. In the second verse of West of Loathing, I believe it is, he fires off a warning shot and accidentally shoots his opponent, and they battle as he bleeds to death.
Okay.
Mint
well,
Oreos hasn't
if
also
it's-
seen that one. Okay. I think these balls are making me a tad woozy. Does it feel like a story battle? I think there's some. I don't think that's enough to call it a story.
Yeah, if it's just him being shot and rapping as he's bleeding out, that's at best I almost feel like tiny progression.
At best, tiny progression. I think there is still a level of progression to it.
Yeah, okay, but that's just based on what you said of the being shot and rapping while bleeding out.
Like basically the entire back half of the battle is them discussing like, oh my goodness, like get me a bandage. Are you gonna pay the taxes? Like, should I let you bleed out?
That's then it's more towards this progress. Yeah.
I definitely feel progression. I don't know where I would put it. I'm gonna put it like here. How do we feel about? Because I know this got mentioned in the FRB earlier. How do we feel about WD Gaster versus Disappearing Guy?
I don't know what to feel.
Have you seen this battle?
You said WD Gaster versus Missing No?
Disappearing Guy.
Disappearing Guy. No, I don't see that.
So essentially, do you know Disappearing Guy?
No.
So he is a gag character from the Amazing Digital Circus who essentially says a few words and disappears. So WD Gaster has their first verse. Disappearing Guy says a few words, then disappears, which leaves Gaster confused. Gaster glitches out a little, has his second verse, before Disappearing Guy has his second verse, saying a few words, but this time he reaches his hand out, touching Gaster. When you touch Gaster, he disappears, so they both disappear, ending the battle.
Alright. I mean, I'm still not sure how I feel about it, but that just made me want to pick up a little side tangent. I have never watched the Digital Circus. Never.
I can tell, because
Probably
it's like...
should, but
Oh, Mr. Cheese has joined the chat. What you doing right now? We are discussing how much progression a battle has to have before it's considered a story battle. You may send battles at us, and we will do our best to like rank where this goes between progression and story. And you can also have a talk with us as well surrounding this.
I think for a progression one potentially would be, if we're talking about WD Gaster versus the Spot.
Oh yes, absolutely. Ooh. Okay. I think this is a story battle.
Alright.
Okay, I'm looking in chat, seeing if there's any other that is getting thrown at us.
I'll be right back. I'll feel free to talk with yourself or something. I'll be right back. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Oh, of course. Apparently there's 5 people in chat. Keep the battles coming. Is Nice Peter versus Epic Lloyd 2. What happens in this battle to make it progression-wise? I suppose they piss off the editor, and then they have that ending section where. Ooh. Ooh. There's definitely progression. You definitely have. They fight, they start off like really calm and tame, and then they slowly get angrier, and as it gets to the end, they fire a shot at the editors. The editors decide to retaliate by enlarging and enhancing their body parts. They leave the beat tag in, and as they're gripping at each other's necks, the producers take the camera away, moving it into another room, and show them both rapping at each other. I think it's a story battle. I think there is enough there to constitute a narrative within that. Good call. Again, it's a matter of trying to think of other battles that have some form of progression, or could potentially be story battles. I think going in the same spot as this is going to end up being that. Which I'm being reminded of because Mika was in the chat. And we've dropped down to 3 people. We had our moment. That was still crazy to me. What do you mean, like... 50-50, you still have my favorite battle of 2024. It's not even funny. Okay, if there's no more messages in the chat, I need to keep watching this to consider. I think it's interesting because Ghostface versus Grimace might be considered. Ooh. Before we get there, I want to put Beast versus Fazbear here. I think I'm going to put you here. I do not think it is a story battle. I think there is some progression in trapping a bunch of people. I didn't watch to the end, so I don't actually know. But okay, Ghostface versus Grimace. Is this Danny? Like, even in terms of progression, Ghostface versus Pack God comes to mind too. I can go here. Let's watch Ghostface versus Grimace.
Yeah, but you're in an inopportune time.
Hello, you've returned. Everyone's left.
Oh, alright. I guess I took everyone with me. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, they were there for you and you left. What the hell, man? Oh, good. Alright, so here we go. Oh my god.
I had my eye on you, Grimace. I saw that I'm quite the lurker. I don't really like how you were only...
I don't know if I want to show this part on stream. Okay, I am going to change it to just my facial reaction for this because I do not know if something bad is going to show on the screen.
Me to sell more burgers. I think that killer facade is fake, but I'd be fucking your mother and have that bitch's titties bounce like a milkshake.
And the mascot of Slashers, you're psychic, we're not equal. Looking like the purple people eaters, just ate too much people. But we're fat boy, his whole life is awful. He left this dying country just to work at McDonald's. Now listen, you ruined your family, then got cut by CG5. If you didn't jump through copyright, you wouldn't be alive. You're only a taste bud, so tell me what you could dish. Catch you like a fucking fish, and if you feel like a fillet of fish.
Hello? Is this a prank from Ronald?
No, it's not.
Makes sense. Those that's
What the beat switch into this beat?
pretty unlawful. You need a voice changer just to shock kids, cause that fan is just a spirit Halloween costume with dandruff on it. Oh, I'll have a gale time spitting some disses, but your disses and flicks, I think that shit makes me, grimace. Oh no, we're seeing sharing ships, what do I do now? Only could stalk Mrs. Prescott until she moved out. So don't go talk to me about copyright, I'll punt a bitch. Mr. couldn't pick a different painting cause he's loving it.
Ha.
Must be a sick prank trying to scam me by Ronald, so when you...
For the last time, I am not Ronald. This isn't a game, Grimmy. This is meant for hitting ya. How about we use attention me up with some trivia?
Oh, I love games.
I know you do, you troubled guy. If you get one answer wrong, however,
You've heard your dies. Danny's battles only got there at best.
Shinji versus Greg Heffley?
Correct. And does just gamer even like Danganronpa?
He does.
I'm afraid, Grimace, that is not correct. Rebut yourself for getting that one answer incorrect. See that my flow is your blood is what you'll think is you next. Lock your face up like my MTV mess when we leave you jumped. What? That picture ain't as bad as you next, Trump.
McDonald's is good for every day and week, but Ortega dropped your stupid thumper Wednesday. Yeesh. You killed my body. It doesn't feel real. How about I return the fucking favor to show you how it feels? You sound like a bitch at the stab of your own blade, and no one give a fuck about your MK drop stone face. I wonder who put your franchise to all the people. Even replicated every horror movie with your shitty sequels. Now they milk you like your stab movies. A shame you didn't drink a shake of mine with that beauty.
Nice.
Couldn't even beat me on my worst day, so you can come out this candle, bitch.
Happy birthday. Don't you love these lines where you can just predict what the last line is gonna be? That's awesome. I love when they do that. Alright. I'm going to say progression.
Sure.
I think, yeah, there was 2 trivia questions. One of them was wrong, and so someone died, and then they went back to try to kill the other person. That is a story. That is a something progressing. I wouldn't say it's a story.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that.
What were the other battles we wanted to talk about? Another Danny battle. Low tier god versus Am. This is an interesting one. I don't want to watch it again because just yeah. I personally do not like this battle, but we will let's see. Have you watched this battle?
Not watched, but listened.
Are you familiar with what happens?
No, I'm not.
So as far as I remember, low tier god has first verse, Am has the first verse. All of low tier god's friends are trapped in different cages, to which Am gives them one salvation of freedom or whatever, and gives them basically a tiny little can of food, and none of them can work out how to open. So one of them starts eating one of the other ones, and Am relishes in victory.
Yeah.
It is. Like, you can definitely say things happened in it, but, like...
Yeah.
This was borderline... Again, it feels borderline, but it's just on the progression side, I feel.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Low tier god versus Am.
Now, this one I don't think is either progression or story, but because this one, the only like progression that happens is the visual one, and that's
Okay.
Jack Sparrow versus Star Lord.
Ooh. This is an interesting. Yeah, I agree. I feel like if the video wasn't there, there would not be progression. But because the video is there, there is definitely some progression.
Yeah.
Which is that they are fighting people. There is some progression. I will give it credit because of the video. It does have some
Well,
progression.
yeah. Yeah, I won't say, but I wouldn't say they are in the progression tier. I would maybe put it in the tiny progression tier, personally.
I do still think there is some progression because of all the fighting in the Aquan sequence and just because of the sheer visual
whole,
irony of that last line.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw it
I mean,
just above Turnip Boy.
Yeah. You're the one in control of the document, so I'll let you decide. But I have voiced my opinion.
Yes. Verminator has joined. What is the progression metric? How many? Can we get a counter for every time I've said it this stream? The progression metric is basically how much progression does a battle have to have? Does a regular rap battle have to have before it's considered a story battle? This is a very interesting topic. I love discussing this. Baldy versus Pico 2 is not a battle I want to watch again, but it's one I have to watch again, so we're going to watch it again.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and video downloads you can watch anytime, anywhere. New users try 1 month on us.
For the most part, I think it's just the latter half of it I need to remember. Because I know the first half is just like killing and then death.
Wake up, Baldy.
Baldy basics, failed all of my equations, quiz everybody walking, a ginger souls for the take, and Baldy wants boing boing. Some sloppy, some toppy, somebody come tug on my balls. They make it clap with no hands, get out while you still can.
I think this is very musical. I don't know. I don't know. I want to say I will say progression, but there is just about as much as Justin Hammer, I feel. If not just a bit more. Verminator says you didn't like Baldy versus Pico 2. This was one of your favorites. I am a person of very specific music tastes, and that very specific type of rap is not my style of music. That is going to be my response for you there. Alright, so this is one that, and this is opinion I hold dearly, but if we are discussing something that I personally made, I do not feel I have the right to speak on behalf of it. So I am fully trusting your own opinion on this.
Alright.
And I will basically just pull up the explanation that I had typed in a different server, so let me do that. I like the second verse Baldy has. That is also not the type of rap music that I'm into, but each to their own. Alright, so I'm basically just going to read off to you this explanation of what happens in this battle.
Go ahead.
So first 3 verses are absolutely normal. So this is Wizards Wanted versus Clank, which is 2 board games, basically.
I'm familiar with one of them.
Pardon?
I am familiar with one of them.
You are familiar with Clank?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. Like you've played the game before, you know how it works.
I've not played it, no, but I have, like, a friend of mine have played it several times, and he has explained how the game works, and I tried to gather people to play, but it never went through.
So I don't have to explain how the game works, basically. Dot, dot, dot.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was. I didn't know that was a question. So, yeah, I don't think you need to explain what it is. I got the gist of it.
Okay, so basically what happens is at the very end of the 3rd verse, which belongs to Wizards Wanted. Wizards Wanted is a game about buying and selling gems, basically. It's not exactly true, but you know. The final line ends up being the tears a gem will set off the dragon. She basically throws a gem onto the floor of Clank, which sets off the dragon, and he runs out of the dungeon, being chased before escaping the dungeon. So it's basically him escaping the dungeon.
Alright, and how long is this escaping of the dungeon?
I will send you this, actually.
Like, alright. Pull it up. There. Send it my way.
Will do. Alright, I have sent you the thing.
I'll have a little look-see. Alright. Well, that is okay. I have seen it now, and I don't know. I don't think it's story, no. I think it's more towards progression.
Okay.
Couldn't place the where in progression, but let's see here. I would maybe put it around Chloe and Monica, but again, that's what I think.
Okay.
So
I do
sorry for the
think-
quiet.
I do think it's around there actually. Yeah, on terms of progression. That works.
Yep.
That works heaps. All right. Any other battles we think would qualify for this list?
I'm doing a last scroll through here.
I am literally just going to take a scroll through BOTM right now.
Oh, Mr. Hyde versus the Invisible Man.
All right. Do not shoot.
DRB.
Do not shoot me for this. I have not seen this battle.
Well, good thing I'm not part of the DRB crew officially. I'm just in the server.
All right. Please give me a second as I watch this battle.
Discord rap battles and their Halloween feature special. It's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde versus the Invisible Man. Begin.
Look at this cunt in the smoking jacket, already cloaked in bandages. Ooh, so proactive. We going at it then? You'll be in dust. You don't want to be in, bruv. You're in scraps enough. I'm causing all the mischief. I bet you're mystified. Did the Bobby spitting up when I commit a crime? Bruv, it's looking like the mummy. With that shit disguise, if I'm Mr. Hyde, then you're literally Mr. Hyde. I see you misses and ghosted her, so to speak. Is that potion's only special effect? Fucking chroma key? Thinking your predicament, it'd be other stand out. Wouldn't shut your damn mouth, caught you with your pants down. Couldn't top my wordplay on my worst day. Only strong suit you've ever at your birthday. Next, cover up some morgue shit, innit? I bet you're looking forward to that ICU visit.
Enough of your blathering hiccups, you damn fool. How am I to rebut if I can't understand you? But to further follow on what half of you said, here's a second opinion. You suck an egg, you lying curmudgeons of facts you can trust. You may open your mouth and gather my nuts. And I tag you to shreds, but your book won't be touched. Cause alas, it's covered on my what weakness does. Plus I have some eyes scream out simpleton ravings. Every pushover's a skirting and the for my babies. But really and truly, I find nothing amusing about a convoluted custom make you frolic with floozies. And like that bitch's neck, I would recommend you get a grip while you practice medicine. I perfected it. Read your mask, doctor. Look not from this throttling. I want to see your human side while you are groveling.
I ain't prone to groveling ever since the potion, but I'll be on my bike if you ain't already thrown it. Hey, prick, yeah, I'll make sure to be around, but I'm leaving.
And the doctor will see you now. If I may speak, high critiques on the brain. You chew the scenery hard.
It's eaten away.
I didn't mean to nitpick, maybe I'm simple. But the reign of terror you can't take her like drizzle. I'd ask to forgive Hyde's boorish behavior. Might it just be that your evil's greater? Who should I target when all's said and done? Did my two heads end up better than none? A demon does have me. This note holds the words of a man that was broken, yet nobody heard. I am left no choice but the poison. I've lost it. More hard to swallow that you've got a doctorate.
That tended strangely, queer little man. You do hate to see it. At least I'm not crazy. Note passing, baby. 'Twas not some mistake or society's weight, but science that made me. Your back would break under the weight of my brain, like the serum you're injected with your efforts in vain. Now out of my room, you lot are the same. Constantly derailing my thoughts like a train. Unveiling the man that I am and the truth. You're crazy to know how I get off the moon. You flim-flam, goofy goblin sports play douche. If I'm a no-face fool, you're a two-faced fool. And look what your nonsense has brought me to. Spoon sponge, big pop, poppycock, and flippy-doo. No cop can stop me, and certainly not you. I shall dominate the earth next, I bid you adieu. Oh, one.
Okay. I have no notes. I'm not the hugest fan of DRB. This is kind of interesting due to the part that most likely considers this a story battle. But I still feel that's progression.
Fair enough.
Definitely on the higher end of progression, because I do like what they've done with it. As far as
in terms of like progression versus story, it's kind of what it's kind of trying to be is the recruiter versus Nagato part. But
Okay.
yeah, I can see why you would think it's more progression.
I see it as, like, I'm assuming the part we are talking about is literally just the changeover and then him dealing with the weight of that changeover, and that doesn't feel like much.
That and also the kind of thing with the Invisible Man, this whole thing at the end as well.
Oh. I feel like the Invisible Man taking off his clothes and becoming a truly invisible man isn't much either.
No, but I know you just saw it, but I did not pay too much attention there, so I'm only going much of my memory, but I do think he does react in some way to that. But yeah, as I said, I can see why this is more progression.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring it up because I think it would make sense on one of those two tiers.
Absolutely, but it also brings up questions about, like, just a Toko Fukawa battle in general.
Yeah. That is a good question.
And even so, I feel like Toko changing from one version of herself to the other, that is kind of it, and if it would be on here, it would be tiny progression.
Alright.
The other battle...
I'll leave this up to you.
The other battle that this very much reminded me of, with the, like, consideration and then being pushed off to the side, is Bonnie and Clyde versus Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah.
And that, I
No, that
feel,
one-
is story.
Yeah, no, that is story with them, going through the whole thing, even dying at the end, as they are kind of quote-unquote supposed to be.
Alright, how do you feel about the theater versus that level again?
Never seen or heard.
Wow, okay. Excuse me a second as I send...
Doesn't ring a bell, at least.
I will send you this battle. Still one of my favorite freaking battles.
Yeah, no, I have not seen this one.
Take the time and watch that.
Right.
Here to celebrate Pico versus Terra getting a 5.8 on Battle of the Month. That is crazy. That is crazy good. I have only ever gotten like 2.8 scraping 3. That is crazy. Let's do it. Oh my god, you silly little thing. How did you make it this far? Come on! Okie dokie mokie, no, I won't be going slowly. Because when terabytes are terrified, it's lonely. Little kiddos that it's at and low key. How'd I find that the high def is seen so lowly? Easy target, please don't start over. Drop you through the floor like Pico Park. Beat a beat on the downbeat, Ringo Starr. And not even FNF can make this Pico smart. Look, take them off speakers, old till you need a break. Fuck your ears so bad that your hearing aid. Leave you so definite, out of speaker broken tongue. When you're awful beef and something clobber in your cockly ears. When it comes to punches and raps, terror's a sparse. Time to tear apart, terror's part, terrible star. So shoot terror, I'll shoot terror. So step off before a new era of stupid errors. A Sonic the Edgeless Hog. dabba dee dabba die. Blue wanna be fun of me, about to die. Step off your high horse, I'll stick you in the hurts, bury you deep, put terror down to earth. Can you even listen to the world around you? Orange, you'll turn it down. I know this is no situations is great, but just because you haven't heard any complaints, I'll keep some choices. I'm breaking Pico's poise, I'm breaking Pico's poise, I peek out boys, and then screens, I'm taking it back to the retro days, and Dicky Sound Bites will be the only business Pico 8. Terraforming any ideas is hot air. If you wanna get up in my side, show me the vision first. So let me get a build a bit, saying some different words. Your mouth is flown the coop since your face looks like you're ready to give the bird. Cause if you're gonna set my pace, I guess you'll be our base again. There's nothing left in that. I raise a head as I raise a head, and our body, it's hell, it's everybody. Until there is no trace of your face when I'm finished here. White glove service, let the others in here. Giga punch you in a nanosecond. I wouldn't call you fire, this was hardly a match. This scar of the scrap that tore you apart with no material. And both of us were started from scratch. It is crazy how well that battle did and how well that battle was received. Thank you all so much for, yeah, just that as a whole. Thank you so much.
All right, there we go. I can see how it would be pretty high up for someone, but I personally don't see how this is much of a story battle. Might just be flowing over my head though.
Okay, I was curious as to your thoughts on this because I also do not have a stance on this. I think this is a very interesting and very cool battle, but I do not see... like, it feels like it should be progressive, but I struggle to see where it is. So I'm curious as to your thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, I don't see where the progression would be if there is any besides the bringing in, I guess, of the whoever that was. I did not catch that type of card, but yeah. And the glitching, I guess, as well. But again, that felt more like sprinklings of flavor and less progression.
Alright, I am putting it in tiny progression.
Alright.
Alright, talking about some other battles that were brought up in the server. In the general FRB server. Eric Cartman versus Charlie Brown.
I guess progression, but
We gotta love the sounds that come out of our face holes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it feels like it's more than just a cameo of a third party because of the things that happen in it, but...
Yeah.
It feels around the same area as sort of the Squid Game ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
On somewhere near the same note, Austin Powers versus James Bond.
No, that one does at best tiny progression, I think.
Really? Okay.
But, yeah, no, that one is okay, sure, it's more like oh yes, yeah, the whole bringing in the old version of Bond. That would be the main pivotal point, I think, but that still doesn't think. I mean, I guess it could be around the same level as the ones we just discussed, but...
Yeah, I see it in the sort of, like, the exact same realm as Squid Game Charlie Brown area.
Yeah, I suppose.
And I think I will separate this section just as a whole.
Sounds good.
Ooh. Okay, that's going to be an interesting one to discuss. Oh, I would mostly just call this progression, but Cave Story versus Ted the Caver.
Might have seen it once, but so I would mainly refer to your knowledge on this one. But alright.
I think
Yeah,
this is like the highest margin of tiny progression there is.
Alright.
I think that is the highest margin of. Because, yeah, I just went into FRB and searched story battles.
Ah, I see.
Ooh. Pikmin versus Lethal Company.
I would say potentially the lower end of progression.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to putting it higher, but that's like where I instinctively would put it.
Because,
maybe
again, the
like
general
above-
area here of the Squid Game, Charlie Brown, James Bond, Hamburger Helper is basically person gets brought in, does stuff. This is very much person gets brought in
That's what times two.
times 2, and then the bosses get brought in as well.
Yeah. So in that block, I would say it would be like the top of that block.
Yeah. Pikmin versus Lethal Company. What battle has that just reminded me of? What battle has that just reminded me of? I think in the same area that Rousey versus Megumin is in, I want to throw Frisk versus Shihiro.
Alright.
Alright, on to... this is something that I don't want to do, but
How do we feel about the different Sam Reich battles?
Ooh. This is very interesting question. I want to question, and I do think you will find a difference here between progression and gimmick, I think is going to be the focus with this question.
Yeah. That's kind of what I wanted to put the needle on.
Yeah, of course. So... yeah, so let's go into... let's start with the lesser of the two. Let's start with Mettaton.
Yep.
So what exactly happens in this battle? Like, there's definitely progression in this battle. So to recap from top to bottom, this is going to be from memory, because, oh my god, I haven't seen this in a hot minute.
Yeah, I was saying the same, but I mainly just remember the Metaton transformation part. I would say it will fall closer to the costume change, if I remember correctly.
I would argue every single Mettaton battle has the change.
Yeah.
And that's just become a part of Mettaton battles in general. Which puts most of them in tiny progression. But there are exceptions. But for the most part for this, because they do utilize a lot of their different assets, I feel. Sam Reich starts it off with a game of Sam Says. Mettaton returns with a cooking show. Sam Reich passes it off to Make Some Noise. Mettaton passes off to a news show. Samurai just has the normal verse, and then Mettaton transforms. So I feel there is... I wouldn't even call this progression. I think there is gimmick. I think there are gimmicks that are being used, but the battle has not...
It's definitely more of a gimmick in the same sense as Gordon bringing Blue Team is a gimmick in that battle with Julia Child.
So I am going to put just Mettaton battles as in general under tiny progression.
Alright.
As for Sam versus Tenor, this is an interesting one. So I'm trying to recap and remember what happened in this battle. This battle is mostly just a normal battle, but there is a little bits of, like, here and there. I would say there's a bit more progression just because of that last verse and Tenor's despocy.
Yeah.
I would say... Like, wherever I put Invisible Man, that's where I'm putting this.
Yeah, makes sense.
That feels like around about the same thing. And even so, I think both of those should go lower. Yep, you're going down here. Okay. Alright, what was the... I keep thinking of a battle and I keep forgetting it. Okay. Ghostbusters versus Mythbusters.
The progression there would be bringing back the B team and Stay Puft there. But that's very... I would say that's too story. I'm immediately booting them out of story.
Yeah, they're not in story. Would you say, like, around the Squid Game area?
Yeah. Maybe, like, I would maybe put it towards, like, the lower end of the Squid Game block.
Towards the... Ooh. Okay, can I ask why?
That's mostly just because the B team transformation. Oh yeah, the B team. That's something. Just that transition, maybe.
I think the one thing that sets this apart from, like, the other, like, Squid Game, Charlie Brown, James Bond, Hamburger Helper, Pigpen, Lethal Company, is the whole say the first thing that comes to your mind, because that makes it
Yeah,
a
that
part
part
of the...
I like. That thing I think is the more progressive part of those two, but the whole the B team is what kind of drives me towards the lower end. But the Stay Puft part is the higher part of that. So I don't know.
I would argue one part of the battle being non-progressive doesn't take away from a different part being progressive.
I guess. Fair enough.
So I want to put this, like, after Hamburger Helper and before Pikmin.
Alright. Oh, right. Another one I think I saw mentioned during the chat before the stream was potentially... how do you feel about Jigsaw and Springtrap?
Yes, okay, I was gonna get to this one. Okay, this is... progression. I do not feel... I think this is progression. I think the characters go through their arcs, but there is I don't think there is a particularly a massive narrative to be followed. It's Afton has their verse, Jigsaw has their verse, Afton becomes Springtrap kills Jigsaw, Jigsaw's little puppet comes out and kills Springtrap. I think it is on the higher end of progression because it still follows through with what I believe is Springtrap's story.
Yep. And yeah.
So I will put them here.
I have the document up right now, but yeah.
What was the other one I was about to throw at you? Midas versus Medusa.
The thing I remember from that would be considered progression is the literal end where they.
Yes, that is what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Which is still a really strong progression point.
It is, but is it enough to carry it to? I would not say it's more than halfway through this entire list.
Okay.
But it's like definitely close to that. I mean, again, it's one moment, but it is a good moment.
Agreed. I want to throw it under Disappearing Guy, if that's okay.
Alright. Sure.
Alright, the last...
This one I haven't...
Sorry, go on.
What was that, sir? And one I haven't checked out in a while, but if I remember vaguely from it, there was something in there, and that was Nagito and Desmond.
Nagito vs. Desmond. Ooh. I did not think this battle was going to get brought up today. I'm adding Bill Cipher versus Flowey to story battles, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just going through the lists of things I have on my...
Okay, Nagito versus Desmond. To clarify what happens here is basically Nagito has versus Desmond, has versus Nagito, has versus Desmond, kills Nagito, I believe. And feels really good about it, so he starts an extermination company and does a verse in the style of an advertisement while still dissing the hell out of Nagito. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Again, it comes down to you've got one moment of progression. How far does that push you?
Yeah. So again, we're keeping it out of the upper half. Again, this might just be me feeling less knowledge about this one, so I inherently will likely put it lower than it might be, but I'm thinking towards either close to the, not into the Squid Game block, but like close to around that area.
I would be willing to throw it like, like in between Mythbusters and Lethal Company. Because I do think it is a significant moment. I don't think I would throw it further down from Mythbusters, but I don't think it goes above Lethal.
Yeah. I think that is all of the ones I would just from a glance at my playlist consider story battles, I think.
Alright, there were two more battles I'm going to throw at you.
Alright.
Number one is Dementio versus Plague Knight.
Yeah, I remember that one. I don't remember what happens in it, but yeah. I swear, I do not have dementia. Because I said, I don't remember. I swear. I have a good memory, I promise. Yeah, go on.
I'm trying to remember what happened in this battle, but basically, you would. I feel like you would need to watch it to understand the progression of this battle. But that's gonna be a battle I will discuss at a later time.
Yeah. And what was the other battle?
And the other battle, which I have to sigh because I do not like. Oh well, I have to watch this battle because someone has told me that it is a really good story battle. And it is a battle I have not seen, but someone has told me that Call of Duty versus Super Mario.
Okay. Never seen that one myself.
Alright, I am going to go off and watch this. This is a joke battle, by the way.
Ah, I see.
But I'm going to go off and watch this very quickly.
BeatStars.com. Big Rap Battles. Super Mario versus Call of Duty. Let's be real, I don't need an introduction. My name is Mario and I see some crap for my plumbing. I said video games are dying, I'm big, but now thanks to what you thought I'll have to do it again. It's a bullet to the head when I'm bringing the pain. I'm doing what I do, I'm like the next Citizen Kane. Only got accomplishments on the daily that you never could. So dope that I even make Nintendo look good. Oh yeah, it's been like loving fun. I've got even more games than you got. Got you through a boomerang, and it didn't come back. Tried to keep hitting us, but only left you attacked. Always get the mixed reception on your games when they all come out. Think all you caught because all you do is hop around.
Nice.
I'm just gonna take this damn win and see it like the US military. Listen, I make the kind of beats that fit a song. The kind of beats that you just gotta stop and fucking rock on. So get out of my sight, creep. Put it in the planner. Blue and red and blue, I fuck with this is the Star Spangled Banner. You've gone strong for decades, but I doubt you'll still be alive after my 360 Saddam Hussein quick scope snipe. Every bullet on the mag will sure as shit make you feel weak. Looks like I've got a 10 rhyme kill streak. I'm the best. When you're out on the front lines, you better watch your step. Blood and death everywhere. This ain't no damn game. Your balls blew up in your face like a flashbang. I've been through some shit. You can't fucking stop me. I hate you more than a goddamn Nazi.
Flavio's here.
I didn't do that. Shit, yeah. I don't want to hear you say that I'm evil when I'm the reason that we still have proud American people. So Mario, if you truly think you're a hero, join me in the battlefield to end the world's evil. We must fight for our country and ensure its safety. What? Are you crazy? No, you can't make me. Wait, no, stop. Let me go. It's time to drop. Let's go. Oh my God. What am I doing? Calm down, Mario. You just gotta keep shooting. Poor man. I think I just killed him. It's alright. That man was merely a villain. I'm sorry. I just can't go through with this. What you can do is
Yeah.
Pardon?
No, I just saw that I am awake. The thing.
Yes, hello, Flavio. Flavio is the best stream watcher. They have come to every single one of my streams. Love you, Flavio. So we are discussing how much progression it takes for a normal battle to be considered a story battle. And someone recommended me this battle, so I have to watch this battle.
Yes. Dance break.
With this guitar gone, make sure every riff fucking hits. COD, your games are good, but I've got better rhymes. Got the skills to beat you Battlefield 4 times.
Yeah, I don't think this was much of a progression, but I did not. I did not catch up too much on it, so.
Okay, so the only real point of progression that can be made here, and I guess it is progression. I will call it progression because it does have some form of progression, but that progression is Call of Duty calling Mario out on the bullshit and saying, "Come fight with me." And then Mario has to get basically launched onto the battlefield, and yeah, it handled the midst of war, kills someone, feels bad about it. Not much, but there is progression. Which I don't like. I don't like that this shitty battle has a... Not shitty, I just don't like joke battles.
Understandable.
Not my thing, sadly. As for... But I have to objectively judge how the progression of this battle is.
Yeah. Again, I did not catch much of this, so sadly I'm gonna leave that up to you.
I am going to put it...
I know this is like me pushing you into the deep part of the pool, but, you know.
I am going to put it...
Still.
I think I'm going to put it after Alexander the Great, and before Medusa. The Amazing Flario. Is there any story battles? Okay, we haven't put Lethal Company versus Phasmophobia in here, even though that's the freaking battle I started the stream with. Okay. Would I really throw that above? It's kind of in the low end of progression. There is progression, but there's not much. I think I'm gonna put it between Star-Lord and Squid Game. I will also work out where to put the other Link's battle in the meantime. Ooh, okay. Yuri versus Susie.
Now, what would you say is like the main point there?
Yuri's knife. It's very pointy.
You know what?
I can't keep a straight face making jokes. Oh, it is.
You know what? None on the stream will see this, but I'm sending you something.
Alright.
There.
I think I want to put... Space. I don't want you to record. Okay. Checking Discord. Checking Discord. Accurate as hell. It's punishment time. Okay, so, up to the most part, this feels like this is Sayori versus Noelle on a very, very lowest scale, I would say, progression. If you're wondering, the main point of progression, I would argue, would be Yuri's last verse where she goes into insanity and... yeah, basically spirals out of control until she stabs herself.
Yeah, no, the lower end of progression does sound like it makes sense.
So I would find... where do I put this? I'm gonna put this above the one we just did, Call of Duty. Yeah, it ramps up a lot there, but that feels like the only point of progression in the battle.
Yeah. Like, I guess no, I wouldn't say call the little post battle
The other thing I wanted
back
to
and forth.
bring up with you would be... sorry, did you have a battle?
No, I was just commenting on the whole. There was only one moment thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you recall there's a writing battle in a writing tournament? I don't remember what it was for, but very much story battle. Do you remember / know which one I'm talking about?
This is not one of the Gorilla Glue battles, correct?
No. Would I consider them? Oh, I would consider them story battles. Oh. Verminator's back. I want to say at the very least Gorilla Glue Gorilla versus what's the last one?
Let me pull it up.
I'm just gonna type the last few GGG battles. Because that's when the story really gets up there.
Yeah, makes sense.
We will get to Flario's suggestion in a second, but I do want to find this writing tournament battle because I don't know. I remember us talking about it, and it was very interesting. Was it in Dog? I'm gonna check Dog.
I may have been in basically all the tournaments, but there's so many battles. It will be unnatural for me to be expected to remember all of them.
I'm just trying to find one particular one.
Yeah.
Murphy Law versus Ruler of Everything.
Let's see here. Let me pull that one up. You said it was in Dog, right?
I've got the link. I've got the link. I'm just gonna grab it from Dog myself. I feel like if this is not a story battle, nothing is. Verminator making a song right now.
Yeah. Are you sending the link, or are you bringing it up on stream, or?
I probably won't bring it up on stream. I don't know how right as I was writing comments, but I will send this to you because this is very Murphy Law versus Ruler of Everything. It is a crazy battle. Alright, onto a battle I do not know. Is Annoying Orange versus OJ Simpson on here?
Oh yeah, that one does have some progression, definitely.
Alright, I haven't seen this one, so give me a second as I watch this.
No worries, take your time.
This will be another one I probably do without the camera. Without the thing on. No, Olivia Rodrigo, you do not get to plug during my stream. This is my stream. What are you doing? Okay.
OJ Simpson. Yeah, I just like this orangey and maybe those gloves back there too. Okay, would you like a rap for that, sir? Bag? Yeah, sure. No, I said a rap. What? Like the rap battle? What's up? Okay, you're running the rap battle this morning. Hey, OJ! Rapping isn't very fitting. The only bars you should know are the ones inside a prison. Fuck this letting door guy. He doesn't have Fortnite. Mind you have evidence or Maya's cut like your knife. Get it? Because he killed his wife? Like somebody switched his channel from NFL to CSI? Damn, bro. It's the only time an OJ joke kills. How ironic. A killer in the Buffalo Bills. I am Uncle James Simpson and those allegations are hoax. They only call me the juice cause you know I got the flow. I applaud Mr. Orange's team, but they all better rush out cause since 2010, Danebo has never scored touchdowns. Hall of Famer, movie star, athlete, and nothing else. Late night appearances and the best in the NFL. My fame knocks down any man compared to me or just a snack as I'll be forever known as the Bills' greatest running back. Running back? Maybe running back to your mansion after reading McDonald's and giving your wife some McStabbins. This is me versus your knife, like an EOBO kitchen rig. Check out his new book, If I Killed the Bee. Kids left when you made your wife coded crimson. You're the worst family guy since
Homer Simpson.
OJ Simpson, nice fucking verse. Can you do this? What? Not be a fucking liar. You're dumb if you did it, or you're not a very good liar. Your thought process and writing was slower than your heart's desire. You wanna know why? You didn't mention anything else you did. Before the trial 95, did you really even do shit? I don't know what you're talking about. Hold on, I gotta take this. Hello? Oh, fuck, god damn it. Shit, you're so fucking annoying. Can you mind your own business? You know what? Fuck you. Yes, Orange, I did it. And what are you gonna do about it? You're a fucking fruit, dude. I can kill you right now. You still wouldn't get clicks on you. You had a viral vid, risen to the top. You were soaring. Then everyone moved on to the next trend. But that's just clockwork, Orange. Sitting on the ranks of Fred. One tweet and I'm back in the public side. It's like you said knife to your whole channel and watch it all fucking die. In just 2 minutes, I confess to everything. So yeah, the running back is running over your reruns. Hey, OJ, guess what? What? FBI! Oh, fuck. Flashback!
Very interesting battle. Okay. Progression.
Yeah.
Definitely over half.
Definitely the progression was that. Slowly breaking down until he's, fine, I did it.
Definitely progression. I definitely think there's progression in this battle. I think it's towards the higher end of everything.
Yep.
I want to say before low tier God versus Am, which is like the number. So this will be like number 2 on this list.
I need to check out one battle in particular from.
Flavio, keep them
Older
coming. I've got like 10 minutes, I think, before I have to go. So we probably only have time to discuss a few more battles. I will scroll through. As I should have been doing, we're just gonna scroll through BOTM. I'm a good man. Fits. Is Pomni versus Javelin here? Yes, Pomni versus Javel is just straight up a story battle. That is an awesome battle. What battle did I just scroll past that I just like completely ignore? I also have to think about a lot of Among Us battles on terms of.
I can't find it right now, but I swear, if I remember correctly, Bird did write a
Ooh.
TOC death battle.
Ooh, Smiling
But that
Friends
was-
versus Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That is a story battle.
I can't find it right now.
Well played, Flaria. Trying to work out where, like, Among Us versus Danganronpa V3 would go. The first one. That feels like it's just in the Squid Game block, honestly, but... Otherwise, looking through the thing.
Okay, okay. If we were talking, considering the writing ones, writing battles.
Yep.
Siege versus Siege.
Do you want to send this one to me?
Yeah, sure.
Because otherwise I'm going to have no idea.
It's one of the COC finales.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I'm going to throw Leshy versus Jimbo on the table here. This is good. Definitely progression, but where? Alright, I think the plan is just going to be, we look at Siege versus Siege, we put Leshy versus Jimbo somewhere, and then we shall do our final battle, our final cover. Yeah. I guess it's a story battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a crazy pecking story battle.
Yeah. It's one of those, you had to be there.
Mm. Alright, the last thing I want to throw at you is going to be Leshy versus Jimbo, and then I will do my final cover, and off we go.
Leshy Jimbo. I do not remember this one.
Wow. This was like my favorite battle of last year. How good? That means I have to make my own choices on this. Okay. I do think this is very gimmick, but I do also think there's a lot of progression with how... Do I? I think it descending into... I am just kind of just going to talk randomly because you won't know what I'm saying if you haven't seen this battle.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
But I think on terms of Leshy's second verse, it going into... Like... Yeah, the tiger coming out, and then... Oh, it is as close to story as story can... It is as close to story as story can get, I feel, because of the... What's his name? My name can only think of the voice actor of the Stout. Just like having the Stout out, doing their escapism thing. Leshy comes in and does their entire thing with the different time signatures and the 4 ending cards. But I also feel... Okay, that will be the last one, Flavio. Yeah, I don't know whether to throw this under story or gimmick. I feel like it's right in the middle. I am going to throw it right in the middle. Flavio wants to bring up 4 vs Flumpty.
And I know for a fact I have not seen this one.
Okay, then this is just going to be on me again.
Yeah, again, I apologize.
All good.
Being so apparently uncultured.
4 vs Flumpty is weird, because it feels like it goes through each of their stories but doesn't have a story to it. So I don't know, it's interesting, because it feels like it should be a story battle, and it's not. It feels like you've thrown one person in another person's world, and then you throw that person in the other person's world. And it ends up in a really weird spot where I don't know where to put. I think I'm going to put it at the top of progression. I think that's where it's going. I don't think there's enough for it to qualify full story, but I think it's about as close as you get. I feel like they just tried killing each other. As far as I'm concerned, can you confirm for me, are you a OSC fan, and can you confirm for me, Flavio, whether or not what's happening in the video is story related? Because if not, it jumps back 5 feet. Yay, an OSC guy! How accurate is 4 Flumpty? On terms of the very ending sequence of the... Okay, no, continue. On terms of the ending sequence, how canonical is, 4 becoming the sun, Flumpty trapping someone in their dungeon, such and such? Oh my days. Those are both very in character. That's what I live for here. Discord is not working. Is Discord working? Hello? Hello, testing Discord. Hello. I think I'm just gonna have to end the call, but thank God for everything. I think I'll say it, and then I can watch this back or whatever. Thank you so much, Rat, for coming out to talk. It's been a decent few hours. What are you doing with your life, spending your time with this bozo? Thank you so much for, coming out, discussing this with me. I know you said at the very beginning that you wouldn't have much to say, but you ended up having some of the most input in, most of this. Ford does become the sun in the show when he has a meltdown. And I'm pretty sure there is Gordon Slumpty. So, yeah, this feels very in character to me. I have no regrets putting 4 versus Flumpty at the top of progression. See you at. In the meantime, I get to show off the last thing. And the last thing is going to be something new. This is a tradition that we could do every stream, where the last thing in a given... Closing tabs, my computer absolutely needs it. But very tradition of ours, where the very last thing... No, at some point during the stream, we will have something I have not shown anyone else before. So this is your first time experiencing it, getting it, yada yada. Feel free to bring you in on more streams. Absolutely will do that. If you want to do wiki races next time, I am coming right for you. And if you can't tell, the computer that I'm currently working with is dying. It has been dropped and tossed all over the place, and it is crazy how I've been surviving on this little computer as much as I have been. So eventually I will be migrating to a bigger computer setup, and we'll have to kiss this computer goodbye. Which I'm not the happiest about. Let me check something, because if we have time and I can get this up and working in time. We do not have time. I have to get this done. Alright. Why are you not loading? Load, please. If YouTube loads before you, I'm doing the other thing first. Alright, we are sitting here. Wiki Races does sound like a good thing for next time. It really does, huh? Why are there 4 people here now? What are we doing here? I do have to take a photo of the thing from earlier. Oh my days. We had a moment earlier on the stream where FRB and Maiko and Mint Oreos and Half just joined the channel for absolutely no reason. Thank you so much, everyone who was involved in that. You know, I think we can make the time to do both of the things I want to do. So, This is a very new battle. It came out very recently, but I have been wanting to cover it for a while, so you are getting this. If you know it, rap along. Here to be challenging the best, though I must say I can't help but be impressed. How can this mess of a food, the crock-a-food, face me? The food, this ain't a contest. You jest and protest lest you test this prophet and unknown creator. You're just a concept. What people who are stoned or lazy eat at home when they've nothing left? A posh on the shit that no one will miss. You're not the main course, best pressed as a side dish. Taking a German meal and making it Americanized. Just another good that you has paralyzed. I can spy on my fighter with a snap of my fingers. I set your mills on fire. What the best you could do to what you produce is giving yourself up to the biggest buyer. How did you fuck up a burger so much that you dropped it from your moniker? I've seen crazy hands in my day, but understand that you're the one I had the dismay to face against. What I do is commence the greatest fighting experience. Most worthless meal that I'm astonished was sellable. When people add shit to make it more edible. Why, how sublime! Pleasure's all mine. Nice to meet a fellow helping hand. I'm sure my appearance wasn't in your plan, and I'm sorry to intrude on this terminal land. But gosh, let me give you a lesson. You're a master of sticking worse than your conventions. Don't let me mention it. No full lacking showers. Quick for hourly grooming session. Serve it like a fine cheese. There's a meal for three to distract his hand from the minor. Please leave the treats with me. Chewing on the secrets to your vision got lost, huh? Even Sucker I could tell that this bar dropped. Fans won't stop digging through for leaks, hoping they bring Waluigi to elite. Any other character brings out an angry mood that'll do wonders to fuel salt on my food. Last, see what's the deal? These trophies are toys to your twist and appeal. The king's character development contracts on with a fighting game that was taboo in the long con. Shut up to this swan song. Hope it didn't put up a fuzz. You're likely to bring back up in a stronger fight. Fans will beat this dead horse so much that you will never ever see the world of light. Oh, Jay-Z and Kanye to write your bars. You choose to tune the fish cause burgers were too hard. All your ingredients are filler. Should I expect more from Spiegel's serial killer? I saved the country through when me stored it so I could breed beef and when I want to store it. When I stay ordered myself, I off the show. When you do so, Ganondorf has to help. Noose is a prime symbol of consumers. Well, I'm ruthless. I'd like to see you prove it or lose it. I doubt you want to spot so fruitless. The truth, you're nothing but a secondary boss of that pop ball. Look in the mirror, not the fog, goes the tough plasma, seeing it clear. Original, not dismissible, the cause join near. Subliminal to Haskell's health lingers to a full stop. Crazy when you face me. Wave the destruction, displacing and wasting the shooter musket. I'm pacing impatiently, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Blood boys, Star Boys, lefty. Well, actually, I'm the one on the right, my right? That's right, so fight. I'll fight. Silence. Resorting to violence with the sugar and fats you have, your body's piling. All because you bought on them being sponsored Galeem and Doc on the buzz of these clubs gone mulling over the fact they're more controlled than a game controller. Both of you and on around the block, push consumers to diabetic shots. We'll continue to strive for a lifetime. Give us a few years and your fans will still never be satisfied. Alright. I'm gonna show you something I've been working on for a while now. You are getting something new. Thank you all for those who sticked around at some point during this incredibly long stream. This has been going for, what, 3 hours? Almost. This has been so incredibly fun. Please tell me this loads. Please tell me this loads. I would like this to load. That'd be great. If this can't load, I guess we'll have to end it there, but I want this to load, and I want to end it right. Thank you, Rat. Thank you, Flavio. Oh, we might actually get this loading. Hold up. Assuming this is going to load, this is something that I've been working on for a very long time. If you know me, you know that I have been doing a cappella covers of things. Basically versions of covers that aren't made with a beat, but are made with my own voice. This is going to be my latest creation. This was made with a keyboard, this was made with me tapping on a little table, and this was made with me. Please enjoy. Once BandLab decides to work. BandLab might not work here. Hi, Sir Plays a Lot. You're late. We're about to end the stream. We're gonna do something on BandLab, but this computer, this little computer here, I love this computer with all my life, but it is starting to wear out. The memory is not what it used to be. The storage is, yeah, it's moving on with time. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this one for the end of the stream. So, yeah. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for the 4 people who showed up at the very end of the stream and no part else of the stream. Thank you to Rat. Thank you to Flario. Thank you to Sir Plays a Lot. Thank you to everyone who joined throughout. Late comers are thrown in the Torment Nexus. I will wiki race you next time, Rat. As for the rest of you, I will see you all on Thursday. Much love. I'm gonna start signing off my streams with my name. When I went through so many different YouTube channels at the time. And yeah, I just couldn't pick on one, so I wanted to have a final rest.